Have you ever been scrolling online and stumbled across one of those real ghost videos? You know the ones. You watch it and you're left wondering, what did I really just see? Well, today we're diving headfirst into a whole collection of them. The guy who put these clips together, he's totally convinced he can tell what's real and what's fake. But we're going to take a different angle. We're not looking for proof. We're looking for patterns, for stories. So let's get into it.
So that's the big claim from the original narrator. He's basically saying, I've seen it all and I can tell you what's legit. He's presenting this footage as stone-cold evidence of the supernatural. We're talking haunted dolls, invisible beings, the works. His whole goal is to convince you, to make you a believer. But like I said, that's not what we're here for.
So instead of just asking, is this real or fake, we're going to ask something deeper. What does it all mean? Because when you actually line up all these modern ghost stories, the ones caught on CCTV, dash cams, and our own phones, you start to see these really interesting patterns pop up. It's like it's a window into what truly scares us today, in the 21st century. This is the new folklore, the folklore of our digital world.
All right, so let's start with a total classic. You know the one, the idea that something, an everyday object that you bring right into your own house, could have something dark attached to it. It's a story we've been telling for centuries, right? But now it's got this modern twist, thanks to surveillance cams.
Okay, first up, we've got a collector. He buys this vintage doll, looks like it's from the 70s, and right away, he says he just gets a bad vibe from it. So what do you do when you think your doll might be haunted? You set up a camera on it? Of course. And the footage he gets, yeah, it's pretty unsettling. First, you see a glue stick just fall over by itself. Then the doll itself seems to shift. And get this, if you check the timestamp on the video, it all goes down right around 3 a.m. Come on, you know what that means in every horror movie ever, right? It's the witching hour. That's supposed to be when the line between our world and whatever's next is at its absolute thinnest. It's a classic signal that this isn't just a draft or a shaky table. But believe me, it gets way worse than a slightly creepy moving doll. That quote, that's the original narrator just freaking out, because this thing escalates big time. In a follow-up clip, the collector's little girl is playing near the doll, and then, out of nowhere, she just flinches back, hard, like she was just slapped across the face by something you can't even see. I mean, we've gone from creepy to actively, shockingly violent. The threat here feels very, very real. All right, moving on to the next cursed object, and it's another big one, the Ouija board. If you've somehow never seen one in a horror movie, it's basically a board you use to try and talk to spirits. And as the source narrator points out, and pretty much everyone in the ghost hunting world agrees, messing with one of these is usually a terrible idea. So in this next video, we meet a guy named Josh. He feels like there's a presence in his house, so he decides, you know what? I'm going to try to make contact. Bad move, Josh. He's sitting there, alone, in the dark, with the board. And whatever's in his house, it is not in the mood for a chat. The pointer piece, it's called a planchette, it just gets launched violently into the air. It's a huge, hostile no. The message couldn't be clearer. Get out. Okay, so we've seen how regular stuff in your house can turn terrifying. But this next batch of clips, they take it to a whole other level. We're not talking about haunted objects anymore. Now, we're talking about face-to-face encounters with these humanoid things. And that taps into a much deeper, more primal kind of fear, doesn't it? The fear of something that looks almost human, but isn't. So picture this. You're driving late at night. It's a dark, empty road. This next clip is from a dash cam, and it's tense right from the get-go. The driver comes around a curve, and there, in the headlights, is a young woman all by herself. Being a good person, he slows down, probably to ask if she's okay, if she needs help. You can just feel the tension building. But as the car creeps closer, it becomes horribly clear that this is not a normal person. The original narrator points out the single most terrifying detail. Where her eyes should be, there's nothing. Just these deep, black, empty pits. And then she just lets out this scream and lunges right for the car. The driver slams on the gas, and what could have been a good deed turns into a full-on nightmare escape. This next one, though, is different. It's not your classic ghost. It feels more like something from a creature feature, you know? We're with a team of paranormal investigators in Cambodia, down by a river that's supposedly haunted, and all of a sudden they see a figure on the bank.
It's naked, has this weird, sickly yellow skin, and a face that the narrator says looks like a fish. It just stares at them for a second, then slides back into the water and vanishes. The fear here is something else entirely. It's not about ghosts. It's about the raw fear of the unknown. All right, get ready for this next one because it's a whole saga. And what makes it so wild is where it happens. We're not in some creepy abandoned asylum. We're in a KFC. Bright lights, people coming and going, a totally normal public place. And this whole thing unfolds over several days, all of it caught on their security cameras. And just like a classic haunting, it escalates. It starts small. A pair of tongs just falls off a counter. Weird. But maybe you'd brush it off. But then, the next day, the lights are flickering and a whole stack of cups gets thrown into the air. Okay, now it's getting serious. By that night, it's actively violent. A cleaning crew member gets physically dragged across the floor. But the craziest part, the absolute climax, it's when a manager walks up to the counter and seems to be serving a customer who is completely 100% invisible on the security footage. So later, when they asked the manager what happened, she said she was serving an old man, and the second she handed him his food, he just vanished. Poof, gone. And when they showed her the security tape, she was absolutely terrified. And this right here is what makes it the ultimate modern ghost story. You have the camera, our supposedly objective eye, showing one thing, nothing, and then you have the human witness, who experienced something completely different. So what happens when what we see with our own eyes and what technology sees are two totally different realities? That question really leads us into our final section, because this is where that conflict between what we see and what the camera sees goes even further. These last few clips, they don't even really feel like hauntings anymore. They feel more like glitches, like bugs in the code of reality, the kind of thing that makes you wonder if the world around us is as solid as we think it is. Check this out. This clip is from Santiago, Chile. A bus driver is starting her shift, gets on her completely empty bus. Part of her routine is to check the security camera feed on her monitor. She looks at the screen, and there's a person sitting in one of the seats. So she physically turns around, looks down the aisle of the bus. Nobody there. It's empty. But she looks back at the monitor, and the figure is still there. She even pulls out her phone to record the monitor just to prove what's happening. It's a straight-up digital paradox. And after that, the source video just hits us with this quick-fire round of weirdness. You've got a whole flock of chickens that just freezes in place all at once. Okay, maybe there's a natural explanation for that, like a predator flying overhead. But then you see a football player whose jersey number literally seems to change from 18 to 21 while he's running. How do you explain that? Or a bush that looks totally normal to the naked eye, but when you look at it through a pane of glass, it looks like it's on fire. See what I mean? These aren't traditional ghosts. These are moments where it feels like reality is just breaking. And that's the narrator's big takeaway after that jersey swap clip. It's a really important point. The fear here isn't just about a ghost in the machine anymore. The fear is that the machine itself, the machine of reality, is broken. These little glitches make you wonder if the fundamental rules of the universe that we all take for granted, maybe they're not so fundamental after all. So when you put it all together, the haunted dolls, the black-eyed girl, the invisible KFC customer, the glitches in reality, it brings us right back to where we started. Are we looking at actual proof of the paranormal, evidence of spirits and other dimensions, or are we just witnessing the creation of a brand new kind of folklore for the digital age? These are the new campfire stories. We're just telling them through the flickering light of our phone screens instead of a fire. And they're perfectly designed to prey on our modern fears in a world where technology sees everything, but also might be lying to us. So I'll leave you with that. What do you think is really going on here?